Through the viscous haze of a Florida midsummer afternoon, Ambrose Knight, lean and silver-haired, trudged down the sun-blasted streets of Gainesville. His angular shadow fell long and thin, wavering over cracks in the pavement like a pencil sketch that came to life. In his hands, crumpled with age and resolve, he held a tattered notebook, a silent testament to his countless tales as a relentless journalist. Ambrose carried the weight of years with a stoic grace. In his faded eyes was a tapestry of joy, sorrow, and an array of mysteries. His past was marked with the angular shadows of schizophrenia, a dance with an unseen partner that propelled him into an ever-shifting reality. The demons of his psyche lurked in the corners of his perception, whispering riddles in an inaudible language. Yet he was not a man to be conquered by his afflictions. An echo of courage lingered in his firm gait, a flame that would flicker but never extinguish, fueled by his ambition to rise above the labyrinth of his mind and leave an indelible mark on the world. Career advancement was his beacon amidst the swirling mists of uncertainty. He found himself drawn towards a curious structure nestled between the mundane architectures. Echoes of yesteryears, it read, its old-world charm standing defiantly against the advance of time. The antique shop, a vault of forgotten memories and abandoned stories, was a veritable treasure trove for a man like him, always eager to uncover a hidden gem amongst the ordinary. Upon entering, a breath of still, cool air embraced him. The sweet, musty scent of age-soaked timber and dust whispered tales of a bygone era, enticing him further into its enigmatic embrace. Shelves laden with curiosities whispered in the silence, a meandering tale of curiosities, each with its own forgotten narrative. The shopkeeper, a woman as old as the artifacts she harbored, welcomed Ambrose. She was a figure woven from the same time-worn tapestry as her store, her wrinkles deep valleys carved by the river of time. "Looking for anything in particular, Mr. Knight?" she asked, her voice a cracked lullaby from forgotten times. "Whatever the shadows are willing to part with, Mrs. Darnell," he replied, his voice rough yet soothing, dancing in the air. Amidst the mundane relics, his gaze fell upon a grotesque idol, an anomaly amid the otherwise charming bric-a-brac. As he neared it, a chill crept up his spine as he felt an uncanny resonance with the object. As the Florida sun began its languid descent, painting the horizon in hues of smoldering oranges and reds, Ambrose's intrigue towards the idol turned into a moth-like attraction. The object was an eldritch creation, depicting a being that straddled the chasm between the familiar and the utterly alien. It was grotesque, yet a macabre allure clung to its form, reaching out to the edges of his subconscious mind. He lifted the artifact, feeling its cool weight in his hands. It was dense, seemingly heavier than its size suggested, and as old as time itself. Carved into it were alien hieroglyphs that pulsated under his fingertips, whispering of forgotten epochs and of horrors too vast to contain in mortal minds. His dreams that night were invaded by vague, monstrous shapes, sinister shadows lurking in the farthest corners of his subconscious. The horrors danced at the periphery of his perception, their formless bodies writhing, melting, then coalescing into the form of the idol. A silent terror took hold, a ghastly ballet of his waking nightmares, and the eldritch visions birthed by the relic. Yet even as his psyche rebelled, a part of him saw the value of this terror, recognized its potential for a story that could catapult his career to new heights. Days turned into weeks, and he found himself drawn deeper into the strange world of the idol. He spent countless hours tracing the contours of the object, scribbling notes, sketching its grotesque form in the dim light of his study, and trying to decipher the alien language engraved upon its form. "Fascinating thing, isn't it?" Mrs. Darnell asked one evening as he was poring over the idol. Her question cut through his deep concentration like a blade, and he looked up to meet her gaze. "It's enchanting in a strange way," he replied, his voice barely a whisper, reflecting his burgeoning obsession with the artifact. As he delved deeper into the mysteries of the idol, the boundary between his waking life and his dreams started to blur. Yet he pushed on, driven by an inexplicable force that beckoned him further into the labyrinthine mystery of unearthly antiquity. Ambrose's world became a swirl of waking dreams and distorted reality. The grotesque idol seemed to have burrowed its way into his mind, its unspeakable form leaking into his thoughts and dreams like a malignant ink spill. Fueled by this bewildering blend of fear and fascination, he sought to uncover the truth buried within the heart of the idol. He spent days scouring historical records, sifting through crumbling parchment, and probing the corners of the internet to understand the idol's origins and purpose. He met with scholars and eccentric hobbyists, engaging in hushed conversations about the possibility of cosmic entities and ancient cults. His conversations echoed in the lonesome nights, tinging his sleep with an aura of strange anticipation. One evening, as he pored over the idol under the lambent glow of a solitary desk lamp, he realized he was not merely a participant in this cosmic drama, but a central figure. The idol, the visions, the enigma, they all revolved around him, guided by some unseen hand to a predetermined destination. "I feel like I'm on the cusp of something momentous," he confessed to Mrs. Darnell during one of his frequent visits to the antique shop. She studied him with an unreadable gaze, her eyes twinkling with an odd mix of concern and curiosity. "Be careful, Mr. Knight. Some things are better left undisturbed," she warned, her words barely more than a whisper, yet carrying the weight of a dreadful prophecy. But he was too invested, too entwined in the web of the idol's mysteries to retreat. He nodded at her words, his determination burning bright in his eyes. He realized he was not just walking the fine line between his fractured sanity and the awakening reality. He was treading a path that would lead him into a chilling revelation. In the faded sepia-toned daylight, under the somber shade of an old oak tree, Ambrose Knight sat with a sheaf of tattered papers and parchments strewn around him. The product of his relentless investigation, these documents wove a tale of cosmic dread that spanned centuries, of a deity bound to the grotesque idol, of an unknowable entity that whispered from beyond the veil of human understanding. His journey had led him to a horrifying truth. Echoes of yesteryears stood upon what once was sacred ground, an earthly tether to an unearthly entity, an accidental sanctuary forged through the threads of time and madness. The store owner, Mrs. Darnell, was an unsuspecting steward of a cosmic relic, an innocent keeper of an ancient horror. The chilling revelation struck him like an icy gust of wind, making his heart drum against his ribs. "Mrs. Darnell," he confronted her one day, his voice betraying a hint of the tremors that shook his soul. "Do you know what lies beneath this store? What power this idol possesses?" The old woman's response was a wordless gaze, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and resignation, as though she had always known this confrontation was inevitable. She replied softly, "I have always felt a presence, Mr. Knight, a sense of the old, the forgotten, like whispers on the wind. I feared it, but also respected it. I never dared to probe." He wrestled with this dark revelation, with the knowledge that he was, in essence, standing on the precipice of a cosmic chasm. Each dream seemed to unveil another layer of the truth, drawing him deeper into the nightmare. Yet the terror was accompanied by an odd sense of acceptance, a strange kinship with the enigma he was part of. The Floridian summer came to an end, leaving behind a world mired in a haze of golden nostalgia. For Ambrose, however, the passage of time had an alien quality, as if each day was a page torn from an otherworldly tome. His visions had grown clearer, resonating with a dread symphony that seemed to harmonize with the pulsating rhythm of the cosmos. "Are you all right, Mr. Knight?" Mrs. Darnell asked him one languid afternoon, her voice shrouded with worry. Her ancient eyes studied him, reading the tormented sonnet etched into the lines of his weathered face. "Never better, Mrs. Darnell," he replied with an enigmatic smile, his voice a somber melody in the antiquated symphony of the shop. His dreams now were more real than his waking hours, seeping into his reality like a dark miasma. The idol was no longer an object of investigation, but the epicenter of his existence. He was drawn to it, the alien relic now a bizarre lighthouse guiding him through the mists of his unraveling sanity. Within this rapture, he found an uncanny solace. He saw himself not as a victim, but as a participant in a cosmic ballet, an acolyte chosen to bear witness to an unspeakable divinity. His past afflictions, his schizophrenia, was not a malady, but a gift, a unique lens to perceive the extra-dimensional truths hidden to ordinary minds. His career, his ambition, all seemed insignificant compared to the cosmic enlightenment that was within his grasp. One fateful evening, under the spectral light of a full moon, he found himself standing at the threshold of Echoes of Yesteryears. The shop, once an enigma, now felt like a sacred temple, the idol its dark deity. It was then that he heard the call, not with his ears, but within the depths of his soul. A silent whisper that resounded through the cosmos, inviting him to join the primordial harmony. With a resolve born of terror and awe, he surrendered to the eldritch call. He embraced the idol, his trembling hands tracing its alien contours. His visions coalesced, becoming a panoramic vista of cosmic horror and beauty. The idol pulsed in his grasp, resonating with his beating heart, welcoming him into its fold. The world outside faded, its mundane reality a distant echo as he stepped into the cosmic labyrinth, now not a mere witness, but a part of its timeless existence. He was not lost but found, his individuality merging with a power far greater, far older than humanity's comprehension. As the sun rose, Echoes of Yesteryears opened its doors once more, but Ambrose Knight was nowhere to be found. Only the idol remained, silent and cryptic, its form casting long, strange shadows in the quiet antique shop. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.